This week, Mel simply walks in with a look at Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. We chat to Ubisoft about the clever, controversial Rainbow Six Siege, and catch up with Sony to learn more about the 4-player action of LittleBigPlanet 3. This is Player Attack. Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this week, of course, was the second ever PAX Australia held in Melbourne on the first weekend of November. This year's show was a raging success. The new venue was a serious improvement on last year's, and the future is already looking bright. If you didn't get a chance to join the tens of thousands of happy gamers down under, we have some good news for you. PAX Australia 2015 has already been confirmed, and the event is officially staying in Melbourne for the next 5 years. Of course, the event was a great place to make some big announcements. The most exciting one came from Bethesda, who revealed that upcoming team-based combat game Battlecry is not only getting a playable beta sometime in the new year, but that Australia and New Zealand are getting their hands on it first. The game was first revealed at E3 this year and is set in a world where gunpowder has been outlawed, so wars are settled the old-fashioned way, with swords, bows, and ridiculous oversized steampunk fists. It's a lovely gesture from Bethesda and Battlecry Studios, and judging by the crowd reaction over the weekend, the game is going to do just fine here in Australia. However, it wasn't all good news from Bethesda. The publisher has also confirmed the sad news that Prey 2 has officially been cancelled after years in development hell. Spokesperson Pete Hines said that the game never got to where it needed to be, despite everyone's best intentions, and so the decision was made to scrap the partly completed project. Prey 2 was first announced back in 2011, but we hadn't heard anything from it for years. That's not the only game to have been dropped over the past week either. Dying Light has also made the choice to scrap its last-gen versions and only release on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Windows PC. The reason for this one, they say, is simple. It's all tied up with the game's technological complexity. Up to 200,000 objects can be on the screen at one time, and when you combine that with physics-based lights, natural movement and a huge open world, you get the sort of game that really needs the grunt of the newer consoles. But that is enough sad news. There's even more good to balance it out. Evolve has run its big alpha test, which started out a little rocky, but evened out by the end. Proving that Turtle Rock's new asymmetrical shooter really is in proper beta testing, the game simply didn't work on PlayStation 4. That didn't last long though, of course, with PlayStation Access reconfirmed and the alpha itself extended to give everyone a proper chance to play. Evolve, which pits 4 hunters against a giant monster, is out in February for Xbox One, PS4 and PC. Also affecting PC gamers, goodoldgames.com has struck a deal with cult favourite studio LucasArts to bring some of the industry's most beloved games to the modern PC, starting with the digital distribution debut of both Star Wars X-Wing and Star Wars TIE Fighter, as well as Sam & Max Hit the Road, The Secret of Monkey Island, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, and the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. These games have all been tweaked so that they will run happily on your modern PC, but otherwise they are exactly the same game you played more than a decade ago. This isn't the whole list either. There is a whole bunch more in the library, which will be published on GOG.com in good time. Other cool things that are out shortly, Mojang has revealed that its collectible card game Scrolls will leave open beta next month. Scrolls will hit Mac and PC as well as iOS and Android tablets, and if you grab it on your Apple device, you can try out a free demo version before paying to unlock the full game. Battlefield Hardline has also set a date. You will be able to get your hands on this brand new Cops and Robbers experience in March of next year, which puts it very neatly in that early 2015 release window we were promised. Put March 17th into your calendar, and remember, Visceral Games creative director Ian Millam has promised that Battlefield Hardline will work at launch, so expect no major issues on PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One or PC. We have a less specific but no less exciting date announcement from Telltale Games, which has confirmed that its episodic adaptation of Game of Thrones is due to start before the end of the year. We can all now breathe just that little bit easier with the knowledge that winter really is coming, even though we don't know quite what it'll bring with it just yet. Rumours suggest that it'll focus on a story north of the Wall, perhaps the tale of House Forrester, but for now, we've not got much to go on. And on to some music news now. Do you remember about a year ago when someone accidentally mentioned that they were working on a game called Far Cry 4, well before Ubisoft had announced the game? Well, that someone was Cliff Martinez, a composer who mostly works in film and television, and was also the drummer for the Red Hot Chili Peppers a few years back. Now, with the game just 2 weeks away, Ubisoft has confirmed that Martinez really is the composer working on the game, and if you like what you hear, you can pick up a digital copy of the soundtrack right now, or get it on double CD in December, or get the 3 LP set in January. It's up to you. But if you like your gaming music on vinyl, Rockstar Games has a deal for you as well. A 59-song monster of a limited edition soundtrack for Grand Theft Auto 5 is out December 9. Take your pick, stunning coloured vinyl or a 3 CD set complete with a gold brick-shaped USB stick. Whichever you choose, you know you're gonna rock out. For more information on any of these stories, or to keep up to date with the latest gaming news, head to playerattack.com. But for now, stick around, we've got plenty more still to come.
One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all and in the darkness bind them, in the land of Mordor where the shadow lies.
Am I dead?
You are banished from death. A curse binds us together.
Who are you?
I shaped the history of Middle-earth. I crafted the rings of power.
Celebrimbor, greatest smith of the Second Age. Sauron deceived you into making the rings. He tortured both you and your kin.
Welcome to Mordor, kingdom of the Dark Lord Sauron and his army of orcs and other vile creatures. It is a dark land where the future of Middle-earth is shaped from the courageous actions of a lonely hero, Talion the Ranger, and the valiant folk that he encounters along the way. This is the new game Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor from the original Fear Studio, Monolith Productions, and this introduction doesn't do it justice. Tolkien's world of The Lord of the Rings is magnificently depicted in single-player mode, and just like the One Ring, surrounds, envelopes, and binds you in a well-developed, intelligent, and strategic experience. As Talion the Ranger, you explore a landscape of surrounding high-peaked, snow-capped mountains in pursuit of the Black Hand and Sauron's right-hand man. Your task? A quest for justice for your executed king, following a brutal conflict set in the immediate moments of the story. To achieve this endgame, you act as a manipulator against orc captains and war chieftains, where one is played against another to manipulate and bend the Dark Lord's army to his own bidding, thanks to the game's inbuilt and pioneering Nemesis system. Other side missions help you to build your hero's strengths and profile for the end ultimate conclusion, a fierce and bloody battle, of course. But what is the Nemesis system? To quote its creator's description, the Nemesis system tracks and remembers player actions to dynamically create and involve unique enemies and scenarios for each and every player. The game remembers everything, from character traits and enemy combat styles down to previously inflicted scars on old enemies. It is unique and adds another dimension to an already solid game, as you achieve battle victory through manipulating an enemy's strengths and weaknesses. The Nemesis system gives Shadow of Mordor a dimension of intuition and allows a game of chess to be played out as a sub-narrative as well as part of the main objective.
Are you ready to join a real army, maggots?
Puppeteering the Ranger via the console's controls is fluent yet simple as he runs, dashes, climbs, jumps, hides, stealths and even rides on ugly mongrel-like creatures through Mordor. Our only complaint? Sometimes Talion was too fluent and quick, so we had to slow down on the controls to stay in sync with the Ranger's in-game movements. The battle game sets and gameplay, as well as the straightforward configuration, lend to cinematic magic. It is reminiscent of another Warner Bros. Franchise, the Batman Arkham series.
Got guts? Let's go spill some, eh?
Bottom line, Shadow of Mordor features quick yet calculated battle moments or movements that can be brutal and uncompromising. As the momentum builds, so does the player's adrenaline. The panoramic shots to the battle confrontations to the dramatic dialogue between the hero and NPCs create a whole and satisfying and even poignant entire narrative. RPG fans, take your time with this one, exploring all of the side quests and lesser objectives to build up Talion's strength and profile.
Bow to me.
We bow to no one.
Stand up and fight.
With cinematic visuals and sharp, snappy sound design, Shadow of Mordor genuinely sweeps the player away, and on occasion, one could forget it's a game and not another Peter Jackson film. Just substitute the controls for popcorn. If you're not familiar with the world of Middle-earth, you don't have to be. The game tells a story separate to The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and while it fits neatly into the space between them, you don't need to know anything about the books to enjoy the game. On the other hand, if you're a Tolkien fanatic but unfamiliar with action RPGs like this one, you're in luck. The tutorials are clear and precise enough so that even Smeagol, better known as Gollum, could navigate and understand the system. And it would be lax not to mention this poor fellow plays a cameo role in the narrative. There are enough references and acknowledgements that this adventure really feels like part of Tolkien's great work. Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor deserves to be played. This game can stand alone and independent of the classic novels, or fill the niche left in between them. It is epic, it is memorable, it is definitely challenging, it may even rule them all.
Well, Rainbow Six Siege is the latest one in the series of the Rainbow Six from Tom Clancy. It's back to the basics of the first-person tactical shooter genre, and the players who have been playing Rainbow Six in the past are going to be super happy because it's really goes back to the essence of what a tactical shooter is. What we're bringing to the table this time is a huge amount of destruction in game that completely changes the way people play. And there's an asymmetrical gameplay between the defenders and the attackers, and both have different roles, and it really brings a lot to the gameplay for the players.
Oh, I see the hostage. She's in the kids' room. They're barricading all the windows.
Help me.
Ah, shit, they saw me. Drone's out.
Okay, I say we breach the garage.
No, I'd rather not. I mean, they always defend it with a shitload of booby traps. I say we drop in the roof and breach the 3 second-floor windows. We all come in at once. What do you guys think?
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
All right, let's vote for helicopter drop.
Roger that.
All set.
So Rainbow Six is all about, exploring the fantasy of the counter-terrorist units, and you can't imagine that without really going into the scenarios of hostage taking hostages. So we wanted to portray this, and of course Rainbow Six is a lot about realism as well. So we introduced a hostage that has some AI on it that's super alive. She reacts to everything that's in the game. If you shoot through, not through, but near her, she's going to be super scared. She's going to protect herself, or she tries to talk to you if you're close to her, get some help. And so she's alive, and you got to take her out and bring her to safety. But of course the defenders are going to be doing whatever they can to stop you. So there's no real detailed story about her, and it's not going to be only like a lady that has to be protected. We're going to have all kinds of scenarios, and in the game there's going to be as well other scenarios than hostages. But the idea is going to be the same. We have an objective, and that your team has really to exploit the advantage that they have each for defending or attacking to get and to meet the objective.
So can you tell us a little bit about the asymmetrical gameplay? What makes these two sides so different?
Well, as I said earlier, the whole game revolves around, the Siege gameplay revolves around the destruction, and so we have a full procedural destruction engine that basically allows you to do anything in the world that you can just shoot through things and they're going to be destroyed realistically. Now, what that provides as an opportunity is that the defenders, their role is to be to make so that they're building a stronghold. They're just going to fortify their house, making it super strong and untakeable, so they can barricade the windows, they can fortify walls, they can put traps. And by doing that, they're making sure that the attackers won't be able to get in. On the other side, the attackers, they have observation tools that they can use to find the weakest points. And they're going to be building their tactics by finding weak points. And later, they're going to just go in, explode the hell out of the house or the environment they're going, and they're exploiting these weak points, shooting through walls, exploding stuff with their breach charges, walls, ceilings, floors. And the whole thing is going to be a real mess at the end of the fight. But these two teams have different roles, but in the end, they want the hostage for them, and they need to go there.
We've seen so many Rainbow Six games over the years, so is this something that fans of the genre, I mean, obviously fans of the genre are going to love it. What's in it for people who may never have played a Rainbow Six game?
I think in the past, Rainbow Six, especially in the beginning, Rainbow Six was a more hardcore game. A lot of players had to do a lot of planning, and some really loved it, and some found it a little bit too tedious. But still, there's a pretty good fan base. And I think the original fans of Rainbow Six are really going to find that we're going back to the roots of Rainbow Six, because there is some planning, there's some tactics, and the players love it. And it's the Rainbow Six genre is a really first-person tactics, so it's really important. But we're doing this in a way that new players are going to be able to access that, and it's going to be pretty easy. There's not 10,000 steps to do in the beginning, but you're going to have to work together, which is something that is very important, especially nowadays. You need to work together to define your tactics, to decide what you're going to do. And when you get in game, you have to stick to the plan as much as possible and make it work also together. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be awesome, because it's easy to access, but it's going to be, there's a lot of depth to it, so people are going to be able to improve as they play as well.
Why did you choose to make it such a new generation only? Why no back support for the PS4, PS3 or Xbox 360?
The main reason is that we decided to build our whole gameplay around destruction, and this provides a lot of new opportunities for the players, and nobody has seen that in the industry, the amount of detail you can get from that destruction engine we're getting. There's no way we can do that at 60 frames per second on a current generation console or the older generation console. There's no way we could have done that. So it's really next gen in that regards. In terms of technology and in terms of gameplay, it's really completely new.
I'm dead! Window upstairs, go. Whoa, wait! She's down! I have to revive her! Cover me!
I got you. Get out of here.
All right.
I'm serious. I'm being lit up here, Lynch. Oh, shit. He got me.
All right, I got the window.
Go.
Now, I know you're eager to get stuck into all this, but please remember the ethos of the Imagisphere. Create and share, and above all, have fun.
Yes. Thanks for that, old man. I'll take it from here.
Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen from Player Attack. I'm here with Tom from Sony, and we are talking about one of the games that got the best ever reaction at the PlayStation press conference the other day, LittleBigPlanet 3.
Yes, it was amazing because we obviously been working on the game for a while, and we're a little bit kind of nervous about getting on the stage, and when we walked out it was just the best reception ever, and it just made us feel really at ease, and we really had fun playing the demo on the stage. And I think what's great is that people didn't even know it was coming, and for it to be kind of scheduled for release this year, it's just like, wow, how could they keep this a secret? It's been awesome.
Hello? I'm Pete Smith, and I'm here today to show you LittleBigPlanet for the first time on PlayStation 4.
It was such a heartwarming experience to be sitting in the audience and everyone's going, oh, yeah, Sony, yeah, all right, yeah, new games. And then LittleBigPlanet came up on the screen and everyone just, you must have felt so proud.
It was amazing. It felt a bit emotional, actually, because obviously, it's kind of like, when you're doing a new game and you're doing something so different, like, for example, the new characters, we spent a lot of time on those characters, and Sackboy's such an iconic mascot for PlayStation that you think, is this right? And then the reception's just been phenomenal. It's just been amazing. It's like, yeah, I think we've done a pretty good job so far. So
who are the new characters?
So we've got 3 new playable characters. First of all, you've got Oddsock. So Oddsock is kind of a really fast 4-legged character. It's the first time we've ever had a 4-legged character in LittleBigPlanet. And what's great about that is that you've got really fast, responsive, dynamic gameplay. You can wall jump, you can kind of slide down walls, just really fast, get through levels really, really fast. Then we've got Swoop. Swoop's a bird-like creature. Swoop can fly, Swoop can swoop. Swoop can pick up people or objects and kind of fly through levels. And then we've got Toggle, which is my personal favourite. Toggle, when we were designing the characters, we tried to think of unique kind of abilities for them. And LBP is always about gameplay, so the gameplay is the most important thing. Then we started to look at how they would look different in a lineup, like their silhouettes needed to look different, but they also needed to look like they belonged to the craft world. They belonged to craft world, but they weren't necessarily the same as Sackboy. And that's why they're kind of handmade. They've got stitching, they're made out of sack, stuff like that. But Toggle's really cool because he can move between 2 different states. That's why it's called Toggle. He can be big and heavy and strong. He can be small and light. He can fit through small gaps. He can walk on water. And the great thing about the characters is it's not just an aesthetic thing. They do massively change the way you play.
And so part of that change in the way you play is the level of co-op that's involved in this. You have to work together to solve problems.
Absolutely. So the level that we showed at E3, we built that especially for the press conference, and we used the exact same tools that we include in the game when it ships, so you can create your own levels as well. So, you know, as with previous LBP games, you can play the whole game in single player. There will be secret kind of like multiplayer areas to kind of tempt you to play online with friends or play local, because it's a lot of fun, LBP in multiplayer. And there's also obviously going to be lots of opportunities to have cooperative gameplay, whether it's multiple characters, whether it's 4 toggles in the level, whether it's 4 odd socks. It's just going to be great.
It's crazy. The opportunities are endless, which is exactly what we expect from LittleBigPlanet, really. Who's developing this one?
So the game's been developed by Sumo Digital as the lead developer, and when we work on LittleBigPlanet games, we collaborate with different studios. So I work for XDev Studio at Sony. We've worked with the franchise since the very beginning, since Media Molecule's first game. And so Sumo Digital are leading this. They've worked on previous LBP games. They've worked on, some of their guys worked on the Vita game, which was massively successful, critically acclaimed. And they've been working on LBP3 for a number of years now. So they're very familiar with the franchise, and I think they've given it a really fresh perspective, which is really cool.
Hang on. They've been working on it for how long, and we're only just hearing about it now?
A few years, yeah, and we kept it secret.
Do you know how much people have been wanting a new LittleBigPlanet? You could have just announced it. Yeah, and people would have been happy to know that it was coming out in like 3 years' time.
Yeah, I think with LittleBigPlanet though, it's kind of like it's a massively ambitious game. LittleBigPlanet, it's not just about what you get when you buy the game on the disc. That's just the beginning. There's so many things you can do with it we wanted to get it right. We wanted to get the tools right, the feature set right, the characters had to be absolutely right. Even the names of the characters, even that took a long time. And I think we just wanted to kind of like come out there with a bang. We didn't want to announce the game and then have a big long period of people waiting for it and kind of getting tired of waiting. So I think a lot of games do that. So I think it's worked out really well.
And that's about it for this edition of Player Attack. Thanks for watching. Next week, we're recapping the recent Wargaming League APAC Season 2 finals held in Seoul. If you want to know what all of this esports fuss is all about, we will unravel the mystery, complete with a side dish of kimchi. In the meantime, you can catch us on playerattack.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. And if you've got something you want to say, send us an email, mailbox@playerattack.com, or just hop on our forums. Till next week, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this is Player Attack.